Hello, I'm Dwight Norris of FishingAtWork.com, and today I'm going to teach you how to spool online to a youth kids fishing reel. Stay tuned. Now what I have here is a Zebco Dock Demon reel. It's made for kids and it comes with a, I believe it's a 3.5 foot rod. It's red, just like this, but guess what? After 5 years of using it and catching tons of fish, the rod tip broke. So I have this Eagle Claw Brave Eagle, which is a 5 foot spinning reel medium action and handles 4 to 12 pound test line, and it's a one piece. So I don't really like one pieces because I can't travel well with them and they're always hanging around, and soon enough you're gonna step on it and it's gonna break. And this one has metal guides, which is classic, it's Eagle Claw. And I figured, hey, I don't want to, get rid of this rod. I can just match it up to this thing and my son can go fishing with this. It's a slight upgrade, but not really. But here's the thing, this Dock Demon holds 2 pound test to 6 pound test. With the, let's see here, that's in metric. Why is it in metric? Guess it sells in other countries. For 2 pound test, it holds 330 yards. For 4 pound test, it holds 170 yards. And for 6 pound test, it holds 105 yards. Now, what I'm going to be doing is putting braided line on here, which normally I wouldn't do, but I had this already. Power Pro braided line. Now you see here at the bottom, it says 10. That's 10 pound test. But you look just to the right of that, we'll put this down. You'll see right here, it says 2 for 2 pound diameter, which means it's actually at the lowest limit for this. And if you look closer, it's only 150 yards. So it holds 330 yards of 2 pound test on this reel, which seems like a lot. And this is how skinny the line is. Look how skinny it is. So maybe it's true. We're gonna try it out. So technically it feels like I can put 2 of these on and still have space. So 150 yards is enough for a kid. And at that point, when they break through it, they're gonna need a new line anyway. So I don't feel there's a reason to completely fill your fishing line unless you're gonna be fishing every day. And that's how much you go through. From messing up and getting caught in trees, don't do that. And if you do, get it out of the tree. Don't leave it there like some Christmas ornament like I see all around town where I am. I know every other place like that, and it's infuriating. Just clean your stuff up. Don't leave it on the ground, don't leave it in the trees. Cut it, climb a tree, do something, swing something over there and pull it towards you and get your lure back or your bobber or whatever else. And, make things a little nicer. So, this is just like the other video that you just saw where I did the spinning reel. The main differences with this and a bigger spinning reel is the amount of line and the test. You'll still be using the face side of the reel to lay on the ground. So the face side will be pointed up, and then you'll wrap it in the way it's unspooling onto the line. You'll use the, I'll show you in a second, right here. You'll be using that little tab right there to hook the line on, and you'll make sure that the line is naturally curling away. So your reel's gonna go this way. So you want it to be laid down so the natural curl of the fishing line goes the same direction. So you hook it and it's naturally going that way. And so when you close the thing and you start reeling, it's like, wow, it's like I was made to be here. And that's when you know you're spooling it correctly. Now, if it's trying to fight you and it's going the other direction and it's getting all tangled and stuff and it doesn't feel right and it doesn't lay right when you let go, even with no tension, and it starts to unspool, guess what? You did it backwards. Start over again. You don't want to force it and then realize at the end that your line doesn't want to go the way it does. And monofilament does stretch and does add, change to its environment more, so people who are more likely to do that. But with braided, no. Make sure you do it right. Braided will not really hold a conformant. It will change shape. It doesn't have a curl. So it's been in here a long time, obviously. So it has a curl. So use the curl and do it right so that you can start your fishing right. So I want to show you that real quick. Some of the quick steps, and then we'll reel it in and we'll call it a day. Before we start that, I actually noticed a great piece of information within this Power Pro fishing reel. It actually has tips for how to spool correctly on a big cast reel, and it also has some knots you should use. So here you'll see some steps on how to reel it on there properly. This is the English side here. Pause and look. Also, it talks about the arbor looping, what you should do, because you don't want your line to slip when you're reeling it out on a bait cast reel. It doesn't have a notch. You have to do a pretty tight knot that's not going to make weird bumps or throw the line off when you're reeling it in. Then the use of electrical tape can help you with that, just to start. This is a Uni Knot, which you'll see a lot with, I believe, with snell hooks. It's a uni to a splice. This is the Polymer Lock. Polymer Knot is really good for braided line because it allows you not to have to deal with that, the end of it, which frays, 8 or 12 threads unraveling and trying to put it through a little tiny jig head hole in the wind. Not fun. And there's other things too, the Albright. I don't use that too much. It's also the reverse Albright and this locking one, which I call a slip knot or something. Yeah. And then there's these two. I've never even heard of them. Slim Beauty and the Bob. Take a look at those. And if you have the time, research your knots so that you know every way to possibly tie your lure to the line, or your line to itself, or to a leader or something else, and the different reasons and ways you can do that. It's very important if you need to deal with that. But if you're just going out and just trying to catch something, like whatever, just trying to have some fun today, not like an everyday fisherman, which you should try if you get the chance. You can go to the website fishingnetwork.com and get the 10-step process to go fishing at work, and that will show you how you can get that out there more often with ease. So let's get forward. I noticed something interesting in this version was that it had a piece of rubber holding down the line. Most fishing lines have a little piece of white tape like this holding down the line, but they used rubber band. That's a little bit of a little notch themselves, trying to outperform the competition. And this is what it means to be facing on the top side. So this is generally the direction that your reel is going to take the line on. So if you hold it this way, it's going to be going around like this, and that's why it's going to end up going around and around and around. So if you hold it this way and it reels in, it's going to get it at that point, and that will be the start of the thing, and it'll go on to the spool the same way. So the same way the spool is held is the same way you have this. If you had it going this way, it would try to reel on backwards, which means you would have loose line, and you would have to hope that over a period of time the braid will take the shape of the spool, which there's no reason to try to make it force to do that. Just do it this way, the same way you do for model development, and don't have any messes. So I've got it in the notch, see right here, and it's looping out, and you see it's going to go around this way, just like the spool on the floor is doing that way. So when you close it, you're supposed to do this with tension. God, it's gonna go around the same way. Now this little notch, as you can see right here in the fishing, not sure why they built that there, but now that I'm doing that way, it's catching, which is a pain in the butt. So I'm not going to make you annoyed by watching myself reel it in. I'll show you some updates when it gets a quarter way through and halfway through, how it lays and how it shouldn't unravel itself when you remove tension. I think I'm about halfway through the amount I need, and it's laying really well and really smooth. Now when I release tension here, you don't want to see it like unraveling. See here how it stays smooth? You don't see anything popping out. Like it's the tension that it has on it naturally is from it being spooled on its container. So when you go the right way, you'll know that it won't try to heavily unspool. This is like tight, it's like not letting go at all. So it's on there perfect. And it's great because you don't have to deal with that in the wind. In the wind, that's really important. If you try to force it and there's that little bit of a nick there and it gets caught and it slows down the lure, or that little bit of opening happens when you're reeling something in repeatedly, and then that knot gets bigger and deeper and more twisted, and next thing you know, you'll cast out one time, you'll get hung on itself, you'll completely stop, and then your lure will keep going, but your line will snap. And hopefully you don't have a $10, $20 lure out there floating in the water or going to the bottom of the wherever and you can't get it back. Not cool. So make sure you do it properly because this is very important. So the tally is in. The estimate for the amount of yards they have for the diameter doesn't match up with what's on the reel most of the time. Now you see here, it's at a good spot. There's a little bit left here, and you don't really want to go more than that because you're going to have some slippage along the line. Now look at this. I mean, there's lots of line left. I tried to peel it to the side to see like how much is left. I think I used about half of it, and this thing's full. So, I wonder, is everybody using the same, measurements? Are they using the same formula when they show like what their diameter is for their braided line? It seems like something's off because test shows that I definitely can't fit 2 of these spools onto this reel. Not possible. So what's going on? Somebody tell me. It's all diameter, right? This is all volume based. If you know a little better than me, please comment down below. But as for this video, we're done. Snip it and ready to go. I'm gonna put on, who knows. Might try some small lures. I'm really getting into small bass fishing in my area. I'm finding that they're there in very shallow water that I used to pass by in a little bit of the rapids, and I don't have much experience with smallmouth bass. I didn't realize exactly where their haunts were, but now I'm starting to get educated with fish brain and the local community. So you should get on there and do that too. If you see somebody catching something in a new place that you want to go, give them a message. Say, hey, dude, what are you using? How are you using it? Where are you using it? What time are you using it? What season? Ask them all the things, and you'll find that people are really receptive to helping you out. Well, I'm sure you're a good person, and everybody gains in that calculation. So, once again, I'm Dwight Norris, fishingnetwork.com. You can go to the website, fishingnetwork.com, and get the 10-step process. Go fishing at work for free, not even an email needed. And there's a little pop-up you'll see on every screen that gives you the opportunity to get the How to Catch More and Bigger Bass PDF, which I made myself, which is a very large document that goes through everything in depth about bass and how to catch them properly so you get bigger ones, particularly on the largemouth side. Smallmouth, I have some good tips there, but not as much as I wanted to. But I'll be updating it because that's what you do when you get more information. You let it go and let the masses learn with you, because it's a journey from being a kid to being an adult to maybe even being a professional. I'm not doing that, but there's some great people out there that do that, like Brian Latimer. Check him out. He has a nice YouTube channel as well, where he shows you how he became a pro and how he continues to educate himself and become better each time. He's now in the Bass Pro series, so you might even see him in the Bassmasters Classic if he gets good enough. But, we all have to get better. So, check you later.